A ding ding. Welcome to the office. Say hello to my receptionist and give him a smile on the way in. I mean, he probably needs it. But yes, welcome to On and Off Topic. I'm your host, Dr. Road, and this is Top Hail Hydra, here to receive you or something. Anyway, we have a lot of interesting subjects to talk about today. Austin has some sort of F1 news. It's going to be really fast because we have a lot of big stuff to talk about elsewhere, like the NFL Honor Awards. We're going to have predictions for who's going to win from the nominees, the top 10 films of 2025, as I promised you, and more Minnesota news because all the news seems to be coming out of Minnesota. But to get that started today, let's hear a quick word from our sponsor. This video is sponsored by still me. And not even very well, apparently, because tech's it's a little difficult. Oh yeah, make sure to like and subscribe. We've had a few people, and the shorts have been really taking off. But aside from that, not much. So please, we need the attention. Our egos are very frail as it is. Austin, take it away with F1 news.
Okay, so we've got a lot that happened in this week. The Barcelona testing is just about wrapped up, so every team has revealed at least their testing liveries. Um, with I would probably have to say Haas having the nicest looking one.
Yeah,
Uh,
McLaren's was a little covered in ads, even though it was a nice black.
so we have Ferrari revealed their latest livery, which is kind of a throwback to the 1970s, roughly. It's very similar to when Niki Lauda was driving.
Because
I
our
like
target
it,
audience definitely was alive back then.
definitely. Let's see. Williams has not participated in the Barcelona testing. They have had a couple issues. Number one being overweight and not passing the crash test.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Are you saying that F1 is weightist? They're going to
No, they're just very
criticize.
strict.
They're body shaming these cars. Okay, I don't think there's any room for that in 2026.
I don't want to hear. I don't. Let's see. So, I don't believe Max has driven the car yet, but Red Bull's new number two seat, Isaac Hadjar, has driven the new Red Bull at the
Doing
Barcelona
very well,
testing,
I hear.
and he set the fastest lap time overall. And that is a rookie driving an undrivable Red Bull built for Max. Just wait till we see what Max can do with this car.
Yes, it's going to be
Red Bull's looking
amazing. We're
promising.
coming back for revenge. It's exciting stuff.
Ferrari drivers have come out and said they are actually looking at a promising year. We will see how long this lasts. But both
Didn't they already
Leclerc and
crash?
Hamilton have come out and said. So apparently, from what Ferrari is telling us, which who knows if they're telling the truth or not, that was a intentional shut off. They were not trying to push the car as hard as they could because they wanted just to make sure everything worked first, bring it back to the shop, look at it, and make sure everything's working. It's a little suspicious, but whatever. Let's see. Valtteri Bottas and Sergio Perez have expressed that they are very happy with their new team Cadillac. So right now, everything in the F1 world is looking great,
Excellent. Full steam ahead. And by
except
the
for
way, everyone.
Williams.
Oh, yeah, Williams. Well, they're I don't know. You're the one who said they were contenders, so we'll just have to wait and see. And if y'all aren't very knowledgeable about F1, as it turns out, there is a show on Netflix all about the F1 season, sort of taking you behind the scenes of the big flashy races, showing what all these drivers are doing. And I've actually been finding it a little informative. I started watching it. It's very interesting. And then the season that's following last year's, the season 8 for the F1 show following the 2025 season, that's going to come out February 27th, I believe. And you
Also,
can go watch that with your very low Netflix subscription because no one wants to pay for the high end stuff. But yeah, that's all for F1 today, unless
we
Austin
do
has
have.
something
Oh,
else.
yes. I wanted to also just go through the 24 hours of Daytona finished last weekend with our overall official winner, no surprise ever, being an LMP2, with the number 7 Porsche Penske Motorsports 963,
Bless you.
driven by Philip Nasser, Julian Adler, and Lauren Heinrich.
Oh, yes, because
They
we all
secured the
know it.
win, which is absolutely wonderful. And then in the LMP2, of course, Crown Strike Racing by APR, GT Pro is the number one, driven by Paul Miller Racing, which is BMW. Then the GTD is won by 57 Windward Racing Mercedes. So congratulations to all of those winners, and just congratulations to all the drivers who finished the race. Period.
Hmm.
Uh,
Yeah, maybe one day people outside the racing world will actually know who they are.
Hopefully, I want to bring motorsports back. We are going to make motorsports great again.
I thought that F1 already did that, especially Max Verstappen.
Well, they brought F1 back
Well, it sort of just brings racing in general. People like NASCAR. Americans like NASCAR at least,
for the most part.
for the most part. I don't particularly care for it, just a circle. The F1 tracks are far more interesting. But anyway, our next subject for today is going to be the NFL Honor Awards. Now, for those of you who don't follow the NFL Honors, basically think of it as the Oscars for NFL. We have a lot of awards, including a new award this year, the Protector of the Year Award for the best offensive lineman, because they don't generally get a lot of recognition, unfortunately. So, as it were, we have our MVP nominees: Josh Allen, Trevor Lawrence, Drake May, Christian McCaffrey, and Matthew Stafford. And no, that's not Drake May's real name. It's his nickname. They call him Drake May. But anyway, basically, you have your front runners like Drake May, Matthew Stafford, maybe even Trevor Lawrence. The back half of the season was very good. But for this one, I'm going to put Matthew Stafford as the MVP. Drake May had the 10th easiest schedule in NFL history and a very non-competitive playoffs where he didn't actually play very well. Stafford, on the other hand, despite being eliminated in the NFC Championship, has looked very good. Excellent touchdown to interception ratio. He's playing his best football of his career at 37 years old. Led the league in passing yards, I believe. And just overall has been a very much more consistent quarterback against a tougher schedule of opponents than Drake May. I'd say Matthew Stafford wins his first MVP at 37 years old, which is basically a grandfather by NFL standards. Christian McCaffrey should probably win fourth or third place. As a running back, it's good for him even to be mentioned here. And Josh Allen better be at the bottom of the finalist lists. He is not him. This was not his year. The playoffs definitely proved it. Next category, Offensive Player of the Year. Drake May actually also got nominated in this category. I also don't think he's going to win this one. I'd say your top three chances for winning are Christian McCaffrey, Puka Nacua, and Jackson Smith and Jigma. Now, JSN led the league in passing yards. McCaffrey, he might have led the league in scrimmage yards, but he just had a very good season after being eliminated due to injury for most of last season. And then Puka Nacua, he's just what I would consider the best wide receiver this year, even though he didn't have the most receiving yards. He did miss one game due to injury, and if he hadn't, I believe he would have had the receiving record this year. But either way, he and JSN very, very similarly matched in terms of talent and what they can accomplish when in the right situation. JSN, he can do these big plays, small plays. He's really a do-it-all wide receiver. Puka Nacua is the master of yards after the catch. He catches the ball, he just goes. He's very big, just pushes through people, makes them hurt, and you love to see it, don't you, Austin?
I don't follow it football.
Basically, Puka make
I don't
defenders
watch it.
go ow. He make them go ow.
Nice.
He caused pain, and he has long,
Cool.
majestic locks like you.
No,
So
no one
I
can
think you
have
appreciate
better
it.
than me.
His hair is way better than yours. I mean, that stuff. It's got
Yeah,
like the
that's
curl.
debatable.
It's got the and he has a beard sometimes. It's like the full thing. It's like I ain't gay, but like if you were gay, which I think you might be, then that would be a fine looking man.
I am
Just
not.
remember that. I know. But yeah, I mean, personally, I think Puka Nacua or Christian McCaffrey should be the one to win. I do think there's a pretty significant chance that JSN wins, but I do not think that there is a clear cut. This one should definitely win, like Saquon Barkley last year. Moving on. Defensive Player of the Year, Myles Garrett. There's no room for any other consideration. It is Myles Garrett. He broke the single season sack record this year, 23 sacks. The record was 22 and a half, so it was only, by half a sack. But he still broke it. He's just been a dominant player on a Browns team that was all over the place, lacking in an offensive identity. He kept that defense going, and he was just an absolute game wrecker. Didn't let anything stop him. Didn't let the fact he was on a horrible team like the Browns stop him from making history. Will Anderson Jr., Nick Minio, Aiden Hutchinson, Micah Parsons, all very good in their own rights. But this is a very well-chosen nominee list. But Myles Garrett is clearly going to be the winner for his second year, second time in 3 years. I would put money on Myles Garrett winning. Coach of the Year: Liam Cohen, Ben Johnson, Mike McDonald, Kyle Shanahan, and Mike Vrabel. You don't know any of these, right? I don't know. I just feel like there's a chance. Anyway, basically, this is a tough race. It's extraordinarily difficult. Mike McDonald made the Seahawks a Super Bowl team after 2 years. Mike Vrabel made the Patriots a Super Bowl team after one. Kyle Shanahan kept his team in the playoffs after half of them were taken out by injury. And then Ben Johnson and Liam Cohen led very productive turnarounds with their respective franchises. I don't quite know how you choose a head coach, but based on how they normally choose head coaches for Coach of the Year, they normally give it to the coach who's had the most impressive turnaround from a bad season to a good season. And because of that, I think while Kyle Shanahan deserves to be strongly considered for this Coach of the Year award, I think it will most likely go to Mike Vrabel just because of the instantaneousness of that turnaround, how fast it was, how meteoric the Patriots' rise was. Even if it was against what is admittedly a very easy schedule, I think the NFL will recognize that. If not him, then Kyle Shanahan or Mike McDonald, most likely. But Ben Johnson, you can make a strong case for as well. Moving on, assistant coach. No, not assistant coach. Offensive Rookie of the Year. I don't like any of these picks because Jackson Dart didn't start for the first few weeks of the season. Then he was injured for a few weeks. Emeka was great for like the first third, maybe half of the season, and then fell off the radar. Travion Henderson wasn't used properly until halfway through the season. Ted McMillan was fine. He wasn't bad. He wasn't super great. And then Tyler Shuck didn't even play football until the back half of the season. Basically, none of them had enough consistently good production. Well, enough consistently standout production, I should say. Jackson Dart would probably be the most basic choice you could make. I think there is a case for him. However, Tetairoa McMillan had the most consistent good and most consistent availability on the field. He was always starting for the Panthers. He was always making plays, and he even did well in the playoffs. So I think as much as it'd be cool to see Jackson Dart win, I think Ted McMillan is the most logical choice just because, you know what they say, the best ability is availability. Okay, moving on. Defensive Rookie of the Year. It's not going to be Abdul Carter. I'm just going to say it right there. He was said to be possibly the best draft prospect of the 25 draft, and he has largely underperformed on a Giants defensive front that could have really used some playmakers when they blew like 5-6 fourth quarter leads. And he hasn't been it. He's had some off the field disciplinary issues as well. It's not going to be him. Carson Schwessinger is the favorite to win the award. He's been a very good linebacker, sort of a Swiss Army knife, do-it-all type guy. But Xavier Watts, this guy was drafted in the third round, I believe, exploded onto the scene for the Falcons, very talented safety. And I don't think he's going to win, but I think the fact he was nominated just is very telling of how good he did for this team. James Pierce Jr. and Nick Emenwari, also very good. I actually thought earlier this season that Emenwari was going to win the award. I don't think it's going to be him. I think he'll probably be second place in votes, though. I am going to go with Carson Schwessinger just because that's the overall vibe. He's the overall favorite, even though there's definitely an argument that can be made that Nick should be the winner. All right, now Assistant Coach of the Year. This one's hard. I don't want to say Vic Fangio. I think he's done a very good job. He's the only reason the Eagles were in the playoffs. But I think just how bad the Eagles looked this year, even if it was mostly the offense's fault, it's going to keep him from getting that. Same with Brian Flores. Josh McDaniels and the offense for the Patriots was good. I don't think it was consistently great enough. That takes you down to Clint Kubiak or Vance Joseph. And that's a good question. Offense or defense? Vance Joseph has been a very good defensive coordinator. He's been pretty much what's keeping the Broncos in these games. Basically like Vic Fangio, except unlike Fangio, the Broncos were a team that managed to win these games, even if it was incredibly close and senselessly close to losing. Clint Kubiak, very good offense. He can run it. He can pass it. It can be whatever. He's a highly sought-after head coaching prospect, especially for the Las Vegas Raiders. Vance Joseph is a favorite for the Cardinals job. With that in mind, I don't know. Austin, what do you think? Kubiak or Joseph?
I don't know any of these people.
Okay, but like if you had to guess.
Kubiak.
Kubiak. All right, all right. I can see that. I'm gonna go with Vance Joseph anyway. And for your NFL comeback player of the year, the players come back from, mostly injury, also adversity or just difficulty in last year, years before. Stephon Diggs came back from an ACL. Aiden Hutchinson came back from a really bad knee injury, I think it was. Trevor Lawrence came back from concussions? I don't know. Christian McCaffrey, like I said, he had like every injury possible last year. And Dak Prescott had an ACL injury, I believe. All of these guys did really good this season in coming back from their injuries. I don't think Stephon Diggs had enough production to win. I don't think Trevor Lawrence had as much of an impressive comeback from the injury as much as coming back from not being a good player before. I don't think it's going to be him, though, or Hutchinson. I'd say between Christian McCaffrey and Dak Prescott would be the question. Prescott played some of the best football of his career. However, I'm going with CMC. Put that money on Christian McCaffrey to win comeback player of the year for missing so much time and being an older running back. And for running backs, you age way faster. And he just had a very productive season, receiving and running. I think the guy wins comeback player of the year. No doubt. And, good for him. Then finally, one last award, the Protector of the Year, the brand new award, which is a very exciting award. It's for the best offensive lineman. You have Garrett Bollays, I hope I'm saying that right, Aaron Brewer, Creed Humphrey, Quinn Miniers, and Penei Sewell, and Joe Thuney. 6 finalists. That's sort of new because usually it's 5, but whatever. It's chosen by old offensive linemen, not the usual AP voting staff. And this is hard because there's specific things that offensive linemen know to look for when they're choosing these finalists and the winners that a lot of us just don't know. Creed Humphrey, the only Chiefs nomination for an award. I would love to see him win and to see him as a finalist even for the very first Protector of the Year award. It's great. And to be seeing him as the centerpiece of an offensive line that went from looking like it was going to be a top 5 unit to vomit-inducing, featuring a right tackle. His name was like Chuwada Godric. I don't even know who that is. If I don't know who someone is, that is an issue. All right? It was just an appalling offensive line. And it was just a consistent staple. He was great. However, I'm going with Joe Thuney. Like, Penei Sewell was the favorite when this award was announced, and I would love to see Creed win. But Joe Thuney has just been championship caliber. Every single team he's played for, the Patriots, he won 2 Super Bowls with. Then he won 2 Super Bowls with the Chiefs. And then they traded him this past year to the Bears. And he got the Bears into the playoffs. Well, not him, but he was part of the team. And I think he's making a case for him to be in the Hall of Fame. So I'm riding with Joe Thuney. Great guy. I would love to see him succeed in that manner. And that's not the choice I thought I'd make. But, he's really good. He's just a very talented lineman. And let's hope that I am correct in my assumptions. Anyway, that is your prediction for the NFL honors winners. We'll be going over Super Bowl predictions next week, even though I'm sure you all know who we're gonna pick in Patriots and Seahawks. But yeah, we'll be doing that next week. Anyway, Austin, are you ready for the doctor's diagnosis of 2025? Are you ready? All right, top 10 movies of the year. Let's go. Let's see how many of these Austin has seen. First of all, some dishonorable mentions.
Probably like only one. I haven't really watched anything in the last 3 years.
Maybe not. Dishonorable mentions. We're talking Frankenstein. We're talking One Battle After Another. I'm sure there's some other ones I can't think of right now. Frankenstein, a lot of people like. Like, I don't know anyone who dislikes it, actually, except me. And I'll tell you why. I've never seen something that looks like Frankenstein. It feels like Frankenstein, but it isn't Frankenstein. It's like that quote from the Hannibal TV show. I see the Ripper, but I don't feel the Reaper. I see them saying the Frankenstein lines, having a very Frankenstein-y set, and having this amazing design and this look and this tone and the style and the right. But even though it copies a lot of the story beats, it's not Frankenstein the book. Guillermo del Toro is a very talented filmmaker, don't get me wrong, but he's not getting Frankenstein right. He's ending it with hope. Can you believe that, Austin? He wants us to be optimistic about Frankenstein. That's.
I mean that, but by the end of the day, that's what like every movie is doing right now, though. Like they were perceived as a villain, but actually,
actually, I mean, in the book, Frankenstein and the monster Frankenstein and
Yeah.
Frankenstein's monster, right? They're both not really great. I mean, the monster, I mean, there's a lot of arguments that I'm not going to get into about, if the poor decisions he made were really to blame, if it's like a nature versus nurture, the world and how he was treated in it, whether it forced him to be this way. And then Frankenstein, is he like bad? Is he just messed up a little? He's just a little crazy. The way
Yes.
I see it is it's a very nuanced book with a lot of different ways you can look at it. It's intelligent, it's deep thinking. But the movie's like, yeah, no, Frankenstein's just he's just a jerk. He's not nice. And the girl in the book that he's in love with and she loves him, and it's like the the emotional thing that like sets him over the edge. Let's just not have it. Let's have the girl be in love with the monster instead. And I'm just like, what? It's like they're trying to copy the overall structure of the story, but not taking into consideration what the story actually is, what it means, what its purpose is. And that's why I can't stand it. And then One Battle After Another is just the Antifa movie, I guess. I mean, look, I just can't get behind it. I don't think I can even bring myself to watch it unless someone were to like beg me to, in which case I might consider it, just so I could rant about how bad it was. Honorable mentions: Caught Stealing, Hamnet, Americana, Eddington, maybe even Zootopia 2. Eddington, I don't like the second half. If it had ended at the first half, it may have been a top 10 film for me. I thought it was going an angle of like neo-Western, this idea of preserving this idea of we're the West, we're solitary, we're far away from the troubles of the world, in this case the troubles of the world being the COVID-19 pandemic, and then just all that, the COVID and the riots and the protests all just seeping into this little town of Eddington right in the middle of nowhere. I was like, that's a neo-Western. And then it went absolutely like bat beep crazy and just I was just like, no, this is where it's getting too weird. It's like if I want a neo western, I don't want it to feel weird or unrealistic. There's certain grittiness and realism you want with westerns, even if there are the standard tropes. But especially neo westerns are sort of about taking the ideas, not the tropes. Just the spirit of the West, not necessarily the unrealistic parts. Regardless, Caught Stealing, it's an action film. It's entertaining. Hamnet, it actually might be a favorite to win Best Picture, but I didn't get to see it, so I'm not going to rank it, but I'm going to make a note of it here for you. Sydney Sweeney movie, but it came out in 2023, so it might not technically count in 2025. It released to general audiences in 2025. It had a film theater release in 2023. Should we count it, Austin? What do you think?
If it came out in 23, then it's a 23 movie.
Okay, it had a film festival release in 23, but it released to general audiences in 2025.
Well, then it's a 25.
Okay. And for number 10, you'll never believe it, it's another Sydney Sweeney movie, The Housemaid. This one sound familiar at all? You haven't seen it?
I didn't even know that existed.
Really? Oh, I saw a lot of ads for it. Basically, it's this thriller. It's based on this book that came out 2-3 years ago. Let's see, there's this gal in the movie played by Sydney Sweeney, and then she killed a guy. It was trying to defend another student, but I guess the student didn't testify on her behalf that it was a defense thing, and so she went to jail for a while, and then comes out. She's looking for a job, and then this family hires her to be the live-in housemaid, and basically then a lot of psychological thriller stuff happens, and except it doesn't really start until the back half of the movie. The first half is just about increasingly uncomfortableness and poor decisions. And I'm just watching in the movie theater and I'm like, ooh, I feel uncomfortable watching this. Why am I watching these people make such awful decisions? Like, take out the fact that it's a psychological thriller. Just some of these decisions are legitimately dumb. However, unlike Eddington, the second half of the movie actually made me appreciate the first half of the movie. Who'd have thought? And I just thought overall, it wasn't the best movie of the year, but it didn't suck. And that's not something I can say about all the movies this year, like Frankenstein. Anyway, Wake Up Dead Man, number 9. You're familiar with the Knives Out movies, right?
I've watched Knives Out. I haven't seen Wake Up Dead Man.
Yeah, well, Wake Up Dead Man's the third one. You can watch Glass Onion if you want. A lot of people don't like it, and a lot of people do. But Wake Up Dead Man, that was really cool, too. That's a rhyme. Okay, and I already did a review on Wake Up Dead Man, so we'll keep it short here. But there's a lot of, I think, sincerity towards just honest conversation, and respect toward each other, even if there's this difference of religion. Because Josh O'Connor's character and Benoit Blanc, like they make this really good like buddy cop detective duo, which is funny because only one of them's a detective, the other one is a Catholic priest, church father, whatever they call them, and they just work. They play off of each other so well, and they're both very good actors, so that's part of it too. But like, I don't know, we gotta give props to Rian Johnson. Number 8, Marty Supreme. Have you heard of that one?
Nope.
Okay. Well, basically, my theory is that this year we're going to have a movie about pickleball. Do you know why?
Please don't.
Okay.
Just don't.
Back in 2024, there was a movie called The Challengers that came out. Do you know that one? Okay, well, it's a Zendaya movie. Also, Josh O'Connor in it, actually. It's about this Zendaya's character. She manipulates these two guys, and they all play tennis, and the two guys, they have a big tennis match, yada, yada. Hey, we fight. And then this past year in 2025, we get a ping pong based movie, Marty Supreme. So I think
Please don't make a pickleball movie. Just don't.
They're making a paddleball trilogy, okay? It's the Challengers, then it's Marty Supreme.
Don't.
This year they have to make a pickleball movie, and then the trilogy, the paddleball trilogy, will be complete. Don't you see?
Please no.
I mean, you got it.
Any movie director watching this, if this is your plan, just throw it in the trash now.
Why?
Please,
Because
I beg you.
what? You just think that if Revan has an idea that it must suck?
No, it's the fact that if anyone thinks that pickleball is worth making a movie about,
Well, what's so bad about pickleball?
yes.
I mean,
yes.
I'm not a fan of pickleball, but like, I'm sure you can make a movie about it.
I mean, I'm sure you could, but like everyone became so obsessed with it, and it's not even
Exactly, prime movie territory. Actually, Amazon Prime probably would make a movie about it.
It's just a tennis meant for old people who can't play tennis.
Ooh, my dad plays pickleball, Austin.
I'm very well aware.
Your boss plays pickleball, Austin.
I am very well aware, and I will stand by my statement.
You better hope
He knows I detest pickleball.
Oh well, that's good. But yeah, Marty Supreme. It's actually the least ping pong-y movie about ping pong ever. It's more about just a guy being a jerk to literally everyone and using them for his own ends. Sort of like Timothy Chalamet as Bob Dylan back in 2024, but now Timothy Chalamet as Marty Mouser in 2025. I feel like it's really just the same thing again. And yet this is the one. This is the role that everyone says, yes, he's going to win Academy Award for Best Supporting, for Best Actor, Academy Award for Best Actor. And I'm like, did y'all not see him and what he did in 24? Not only was he Bob Dylan, he was also Paul Atreides in Dune Part 2, which was one of the best films of 2024. So like, I don't know what we're doing there. But either way, Marty Supreme, I didn't love it because I didn't think that there was a whole lot of theme aside from the most successful people are only successful because they're jerks to everyone, which, I mean, that's not very uplifting, personally. But, I mean, it was a very well-made movie. Like, I look at it, I think, now that's a movie. Like, that's very aesthetically pleasing. You look at it, and it just, the granulation, it looks great. Anyway, number 7, The Phoenician Scheme. Yet another...
I have actually watched that.
You did? When?
About a month ago.
Oh. Good for you. The latest of Wes Anderson's movies to be snubbed by the Oscars because no one appreciates him, I guess. Which I don't get. This was a very nice movie. This is like
it was actually really good.
This is the contrast to Marty Supreme, where you could watch both of them and think, is this really about anything? But I don't think, due to Wes Anderson's very sort of, boxed structure of storytelling, that there's a lot of rich themes about his work. I don't think that's the case. However, I do think there's an overall sense of redemption ideas going on here. This criminal boss, and he's trying to make his last big plan go, and he even pays the slaves. Can you believe it?
That is pretty interesting.
I know. By the end of it,
of course, it's also just the comedy is also just really like.
It's a fun movie, and it's shot well. He's very good at the technical aspects of his movies.
It was very well done. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, and if Austin enjoys something, it's got to be a top 10 movie. Right, number 6, Austin may have seen this one too, Weapons.
Nope.
Really? You didn't see Weapons?
I don't even know what that's about.
Oh. At 2:17, is it 2:17? Well, I gotta look it up now. There's a very specific title. Infographic sort of thing. It's on every poster. It's very long. but I think that's part of what made it so striking. On the poster it says, last night at 2:17 a.m., every child from Mrs. Gandhi's class woke up, got out of bed, went downstairs, opened the front door, walked into the dark, and they never came back. Ooh, now that is scary.
Interesting.
Yeah, and when it's being scared, let me tell you, that thing is tense. It's like, oh. And the villain, she's just a horrible thing to look at. Sometimes when I'm alone at night and then I'm looking down the stairs and I'm afraid she's gonna pop out and I'm gonna be like, because it's a horrifying design. This movie should have gotten the best makeup nomination from the Oscars just for how freaking creepy this witch looks. And the whole movie, it's a little strangely paced. Just and how the story is set up, it's sort of like we go forward and then we jump back, then we go forward again and then jump back. It's sort of a Texas two-step sort of movie, I guess, if that makes any sense. But still, for the sheer dread and fear and excellent performances from the cast, I think this movie is underappreciated and should have gotten some sort of recognition at the Oscars, even though it didn't. But I'm recognizing it, which is even better than the Oscars. Ain't that right?
Sure.
Perfect. Number 5, Jay Kelly. Bet you haven't heard of this one.
Nope.
Exactly. No one's heard of this movie, and I don't understand why. I wouldn't say it's such a fun and heartwarming movie, because in the end, it's about a guy who can't get anyone to show up to this big event, a film tribute, basically. This actor, Jay Kelly, and he's thinking, oh, my relationship with my first daughter didn't go so well, and now my second daughter's about to, head out into the world. So I'm going to pack up my bags and go over to France because she's taking a summer trip or something with her friends, and they go by. And so he takes his whole team, like his agent, his manager, or whatever, makeup person, like his whole troupe. And they're following his kid to France and then through Italy. And then eventually, like, he stops following her and he just goes to the film tribute. And it's just this idea of, again, the price of success sometimes means you're very alone in that success. And the movie ends with him looking over his life and his accomplishments with his agent because no one else wanted to show up. So it's a very sad movie, I think, but there's such a spirit of fun, I guess. Maybe not fun, but I can enjoy this movie. I don't walk away from it feeling very sad. And maybe that's just the spirit. There's almost a magical element to it. It's not anything remarkable. And maybe some of the more serious moments could have been given a little more gravitas, I think. When you have Adam Sandler playing the agent, I think it's sort of hard to take that completely seriously. But
yeah.
Overall, I think it's still a really good movie that nobody has talked about. And I'm really glad that I watched it for this year. Number 4, I know you've watched this one. I know you love this one. Can you guess it?
F1.
F1! There you go. I know you're mad at me for putting 3 movies above F1.
I am, but I'm going to hide it best I can.
What? Do you want to talk about what you love most about F1? Because, you're big on F1 more than I am.
I mean, so when it comes down to it, you have to watch F1 like a movie and not like you're watching an F1 race. There was a lot of stuff. Apex GP would have never been allowed to continue the season, and Sonny Hayes would have been kicked out of the grid very quickly. So there was a lot of plot armor Sonny Hayes had.
He's Brad Pitt. What did you expect?
Watching it as just a movie, it was extremely enjoyable. Beautiful soundtrack, great storyline, redemption of a previous F1 driver had to crash. A lot of people are saying it's essentially just a modern version of the Cars movie. I would disagree. People are saying Sonny Hayes is just Doc Hudson, greatest racer, crashes, gets kicked out, then comes back out of nowhere.
What? It is
yes,
not,
but no.
It's not.
There's a difference.
It's actually, the difference is basically my main problem with the movie. Because the Hudson Hornet, basically, he has character development. He crashes, and then he's bitter and alone for so long. I don't get that from Sonny Hayes. From what I get from the movie, it's that I was bitter and alone, and then I realized, hey, that's not productive. I like racing, so I'm going to keep doing racing. And so from the start of the movie to the end of it, His thing is just chasing that feeling of flying, basically.
Which is absolute. It's a wonderful feeling. I love that feeling whenever I'm driving my
Racing on your
truck
video
out
games.
or sim racing. It's just a wonderful feeling when the car's driving itself, essentially.
Well, that's a great feeling. I just I question what the point of the movie was for him. It's not really about character development for him as much as it's about how he
There,
character develops everyone around him.
it essentially Sonny Hayes is that character. It's not necessarily he's growing. He's making everyone else around him grow. And he does have a little bit of development, but not enough for it to be significant.
Yeah,
Uh,
I don't know. I just would have loved to see like if there was some way to develop his character, but I think we're getting an F1 sequel in a few years, so maybe we
that
can
would
see
actually be really good. I
so
would
so we
like to
could
see
see
that.
some more
But
layers, some
visuals were
onions.
visuals were great. They didn't use because of Brad Pitt, and I'm forgetting the name of the guy who played Joshua Pierce. I apologize. But because they don't have super license, they weren't allowed to drive a real F1 car. But they were
Oh,
given the exception of driving a upgraded F2 car. So they were actually driving the vehicles. Brad Pitt did later drive an F1 car. He got a deal with McLaren to learn how to drive.
oh, okay. I was gonna say he got a super
Um,
license. That was fast.
and then, of course, they got all the real F1 drivers. Lewis Hamilton was able to get all of them there.
I thought Max
Uh,
didn't want to be there.
Max didn't want to be originally for two reasons. Red Bull didn't want to be perceived as the enemy, and Max was also just like, I don't care too much. But that's also just Max.
Yes, Max is a
But
legend, our goat.
Max did play himself in the movie, and there was actually racing involved in the screens. They were using for the 24-hour Daytona, you know, they did have a helicopter just riding alongside the cars, and they had a helicopter riding alongside the cars in the F1 races. So it was very well done. I really appreciated it, and that they used the actual cars, not just CGI. I think that's a huge bonus to
Oh
them.
yeah, it makes it all look better.
And
Same with Top Gun Maverick, which Joseph Kosinski also directed. He directed both movies.
yeah, it was just a really great movie. And didn't it win Best Movie of the Year?
Not with the Oscars, but I mean, it might have won something somewhere else.
Maybe. I might have read something and been wrong.
It's possible. It did get nominated for Best Picture. I don't think it'll win because of other movies I have on the list, but it was still good. However, I don't know how you'll feel about how I ranked number three. But personally, I think just the overall, like I said, character arcs of our main characters is what pushed me over the edge because I liked both films fairly equally. And number three was K-pop Demon Hunters. I'm gonna get so many insults for this, but like, can you blame me for putting it this high?
For being a top three, no. For being above F1, I would question.
Again, it's about the character arcs.
But I will agree, K-pop Demon Hunters is probably a top three, probably top two, with a contention for the top, aside from F1, because I love F1, so I'm
K-pop
gonna
was
be biased.
actually it was actually my number two for the entire year, except right until 2 days ago when it got dethroned by number two. So,
See, and I bet you're happy that I convinced you to finally watch it,
well,
because
it was
you
on my
refused to watch
it was
it.
on my to-do
No, no,
list.
no,
It
I
just
was
wasn't
telling you you should watch it, and you're like,
okay.
no, I'm not gonna watch it
No, I
because that
didn't
sounds
say it.
gross.
I just said I thought it was made up. I was like, there's no way people actually made a movie called K-pop Demon Hunters. Like, if when you first heard about that, wouldn't you have thought it was a joke?
I did honestly, which
See?
is why I was trying to convince you for a while. Be like, dude, watch
Okay,
it.
but like everyone, go listen to your idol. Go listen to how it's done. Go watch the amazing animation. Go see this heartwarming story. It might be a little
And I
loose.
do believe we're getting a sequel.
We are, but not until 2029. So
Yeah,
don't reserve your tickets yet.
yet.
Yeah, but I mean, there are some things that you could improve. The villain, I liked everything about him except his design. It's hard to be scared of a fire, especially a fire with a very goofy face at the end. I saw some of the concept art for the original thing. It was sort of like a scary mask, and I was like, why didn't they do that? It looks amazing in the concept art. It would have looked even better with the animation.
Because the pyrotechnics at the end of your idol.
You can do fire. You can have fire with the mask, but I'm just saying I would have loved to have had a more clear face. It's hard to say, yes, that fire looks like a very intimidating villain right there, even if he's being voiced
The,
by
the
a
the king of the
very good actor.
demon world looks like a campfire that you'd find in one of those
Let's go cook our
electric
marshmallows on the king of the
or
demons.
one of the electric fireplaces where it's just the screen and heater.
Yeah, see, how are you supposed to be afraid of that?
Honestly,
You can make a
that's
K-pop
fair.
Demon Hunters themed a Yule log with Guima. Guima could be a Yule log, y'all.
Yeah,
Missed marketing
probably.
opportunity. Do better, K-pop.
Come on. So what's
But
your number two, one and two?
number two, I don't know if I might mention this to you. Train Dreams.
I have no clue what that is.
Okay, Daniel really likes it. Train Dreams is a movie not about trains. And that really annoys me. It was so sad that it wasn't about trains. I was almost convinced to like put it in dishonorable mentions because from the trailers, I could tell that this was going to be a very well shot film. It's going to look gorgeous. And I was like, this is the movie. This is this rugged American frontier movie shot with a director with a passion for what he's doing, the cinematographer who's going to bring out the best in every shot. This is going to make trains look the most gorgeous image. And there's 2 shots of a train. There's like maybe 3 train appearances in the entire movie. And it's like nothing. A test train and then a train going by on a bridge at night, which I'm pretty sure is the shot they used in the trailer. And it looked gorgeous. But I only got that. And you can't have a movie called Train Dreams when it doesn't have any darn trains. It's because of the inciting conflict that sort of haunts the main character for the rest of his life. So train dreams. It's dreams with the trains and the whistle, and it makes sense. But I am very disappointed about that. That out of the way.
Looks
That's why.
interesting, but
Yeah, it's got Joel Edgerton, Felicity Jones, and who's that? I don't know her name, but the gal who was Stacey Ermintrout in Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul.
let's see. Cast was Joel Edgerton,
He's really
Felicity
good.
Jones,
She's also
Carrie
very good.
Condon, Will Patton, William H. Macy, John Deal, however
I'm
you,
sure you said her name in there
uh,
somewhere.
Nathaniel Ackernand, Paul Schneider, and
Whoever was the one
Alfred
who played
Hayes.
Claire something.
Carrie Condon.
Yes, that one then. But yeah, basically a lot of capable actors, very good at what they do, especially Joel Edgerton. He can do just about anything. You had him in Star Wars, you had him in 13 Lives, one of my favorite movies ever, and now in Train Dreams. Just if anyone's read Ernest Hemingway, have you ever read Ernest Hemingway? No? Okay. Well, basically, possibly his most famous book, The Old Man and the Sea. I don't like that book. It's very pointless to me. It's about a guy who never catches anything while he fishes. He goes out to sea and he's just old and he never catches it, and he's just a failure, and everyone looks down on him. And then one day he
Same.
goes out and he catches this giant, magnificent fish. He fights it for days to catch it, and he finally kills it, and he straps it to his boat, and he tries sailing home. And then by the time he makes it home, all the sharks and other animals and whatnot have eaten this fish to the bones. And so it's like, gee, no matter what you do, you're just a giant failure.
Same.
And he goes to bed a failure. He's gonna wake up the next day and do it all over again, because I guess the moral of the story is living off of pure spite for your living conditions in the world. And a lot of people will appreciate this movie. They're probably the same people who appreciate The Gift of the Magi, a movie about a woman who ended up with combs for no hair and a guy who had a chain for no watch. It's dumb. It's dumb. But Train Dreams, I think, did it better than Ernest Hemingway, because our protagonist here lives a very sad, depressing life. It starts uninteresting. He's uninterested with life. He meets a girl, falls in love, and then he has something to live for, and his life is he's going upward. Then he watches a man be thrown over a bridge, and he doesn't do really a lot to save him. And that sort of haunts him for the rest of his life. And then a lot of people he knows keeps dying, including his wife and his kid, maybe. There's some gray area as to if the kid died, and you can make your own theories about that. Basically, he loses everything around him, and then he dies alone in his cabin. No one knew who he was when he came into the world. No one knew who he was when he left. So it's almost a life of insignificance. But there's just something about it that's such a gorgeous, amazingly shot, very tragic, emotional life of insignificance that I can't get over, and it's just it looks so good, Austin. You have to watch it just for the cinematography.
I'll
It's
take
crazy.
a look at it.
And the song at the end, also called Train Dreams. Nick Cave wrote it. Nick Cave also did work for Hell or High Water, one of my favorite films ever. Also, so Neil Western Taylor Sheridan wrote it. Anyway, and it's a sad, somber song. Very good though. I would recommend. But my number one movie of 2025, it's gonna be Kill Bill: The Whole Bloody Affair. I'm kidding. We're not counting that because the two parts came out in the 2000s, and they released the supercut basically in 2025. Now, if I was counting that movie, I would count it as my number one. I would count it as one of the best films ever. I had no idea Kill Bill was so good. I had never seen it before. I watched the full version in theaters, and I'm so grateful I did because I learned some of the differences between the supercut version and the two separate ones. And let me just say, I had the best possible experience of Kill Bill ever. All right, by watching the full thing instead of the two parts. So if it ever comes out on DVD, it better come out. Quentin Tarantino, he made the movie, and he said he might just never release it on disc to make it a pure theatrical experience. So that I say, release the Tarantino cut. Tarantino, you coward. Because that movie is magnificent. And you know something about Kill Bill, I'm sure.
Not watched it.
But you've heard of it.
Other than from you, no.
Really? Guys, what are we doing? Parents, start teaching your children important stuff like Kill Bill. Do you really need to teach them calculus that bad? That's what I thought.
Or my parents didn't teach me anything.
Say
I'm
that.
joking. If my parents are watching this, that is a joke. I am joking.
And then my true number one, everyone, all right? It's Sinners, all right? It was hands down the best movie this year. Ryan Coogler, I had my doubts in you as a filmmaker after your Black Panther movies. But I want to say, when you are not brought down by the weight of Marvel expectations, you can make a damn good movie. You haven't seen Sinners, right? Okay. Well, you have heard one of the songs. You are a fan of Rocky Road to Dublin, right?
Was
Yeah.
I've
On
not
the
heard that
Rocky
song.
Road to Dublin, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, hunt the hammer, turn it on. That one?
I've not heard that.
Really? That's what. Oh, that's like that was a genre we listened to exclusively for like 3 years.
That is false. That was the genre you listen to exclusively.
Okay, yes, you
I
also
happen
liked
to listen to it a
you
lot.
liked your sad punk metal, whatever. Don't correct me. I know I'm wrong. I don't need to know what the actual thing was. Anyway, Sinners, I don't know where to start. It looks amazing. The sound design's amazing. The use of rock and roll guitars in like the 20s, this is incredible, especially this one scene where I think it's when he performs the song Lied to You. And it's this idea that, this music, it's connecting all the all of our peoples from the past, the present, and the future. And it's just this amazing celebration of black culture. And it's just, wow. And I know, like, the message of the film is, what's that word? It starts with an A. It's like conformity.
I don't know. I'm blue collar. You expect me to know big words?
Ha ha ha. You studied music in college. I don't want to hear
Yes.
about it. Basically, it's the idea of not boiling down into the shared collective soup. Everyone's sort of oil to water type thing, retaining everyone's own personal identities, not becoming a part of the whole, which, isn't like something I want to dig too deep into because it's just a really fun movie. If you cannot take joy in a movie about vampires singing Rocky Road to Dublin with one of the best soundtracks for a movie I've ever heard, the folk music and the Delta blues music and the Irish music, I love this genre. It does not get enough love in movies. They do not sing this music enough, and they sung it, and it was beautiful, and I loved it. No complaints. 10 out of 10 movie. And the ending, better than F1 ending. I'll say it. I almost didn't watch it because it was like between the credits and after the credits, but I see it and I'm like, oh my goodness. It ties everything up. It's just, there's so much. I don't have time to talk about all of it. But yeah, go watch Sinners, and then if you want, I'll do a big review on it later. Anyway, that's the top 10 movies: Housemaid, Dead Man, Supreme, Phoenician Scheme, Weapons, Kelly, F1 Hunters, Train, Dreams, Sinners, and now we're done. Okay, I'll get the wrapping stuff better eventually. I promise. Anyway, for our super episode today, we're already at 56 minutes. We just have one more small little discussion. Alex Pretti. Ooh. So, most of you probably do know who this guy is. I'd be shocked if
It
you didn't.
This story
Austin.
has gone very viral. I did actually know about it. I just had not
Forgot
known
you
the
knew
name,
about it.
but I
Oh,
knew
okay.
about the story and I
Yeah.
knew it.
So, most of you already know the story of what happened, so we're not going to dwell on that too much. I think we should dive into what we appear to know, with the acknowledgement that more evidence could come to light. Evidence has been coming to light, and new angles and
New videos are popping up every
new
day.
videos and background information. So we really don't know the full story yet. So just keep that in mind while we're talking about it, because we don't want to
This
say
is
anything that's
essentially a
false.
current this is a current up-to-date knowledge that
Yes,
we
with everything
have.
that we know. We're not journalists, though, so we're not super deeply intertwined with the story. But with that in mind, from what I have seen, which hasn't been a whole lot, but from what I've seen, it looks like on the day that this happened, January 23rd, I believe, Alex Pretti, he's somehow at this scene where ICE is trying to do something. I think it was either detain a criminal illegal or transport him somewhere. I don't know for certain. And then he's making, I think he wasn't doing anything violent in the stuff that I saw. It appeared that he was uh, recording, and ICE was actually dealing with a separate person, I think a woman, and then they push her down, and then he's like, "Hey, get," and he pushes the ICE agent out, and then ICE agent's like, "Oh, you're not going," and then they take him down. Then there's a fight, it ensues, and a lot of agents get on top of him, and that's before they even know he has a gun, and it all goes crazy. And I don't know if eventually, at some point, it looks like he's either trying to lift the lady up or drag her. I don't know. It's hard to say. And when you have a big fight like that, it's hard to know people's like intentions or what they're trying to do, because sometimes a lot of it's just instinct, do or die, whatnot. And then eventually, when you slow the footage down and look about what's going on, it looks like eventually one of them at least sees he has a gun, takes the gun, but someone also says he's got a gun, and then maybe they think he's trying to take it out, so they shoot at him. It's very hard to tell exactly what's going on because the footage isn't spectacular, and it's hard to know who's who because everyone's wearing such similar clothes and the masks, and it's all happening so fast. What it appears to me is that this was, from what we can tell, possibly an excessive force on ICE's part. That's very possible. Trying to react to a situation that may have I'm not going to say it didn't require that amount of force. However, like when we're starting with the altercation and trying to just get him to the ground, then the gun part happens. And this is where I think it gets messy. I don't think that at
There
best case scenario, I think one agent gets the gun but doesn't say it to anyone else, and so everyone else thinks he has the gun, and then kills Alex because they think he still has it. I think that's your best case scenario. It's a
I
miscommunication.
I think it does very much come down to a just big misunderstanding and miscommunication because in that very short clip of the clearest clip we have is number one very short and it happens very quickly. Um Alex is getting himself involved in an ICE operation, which by law is a criminal offense, but that does not warrant shooting. That
They
warrants
did hit
just
him over the head
restraining.
with the. They hit him over the head with either the gun or the pepper spray bottle. I don't know. So
But
I
and
just,
then
yeah, I
they
don't
get
think he
him
was of
down,
a big threat based on the fact that there was
but
so many guys against this one
there
guy.
there were, I believe, like five ICE agents on Alex, and one happens to grab the gun once he notices it. I think the other ICE agents heard gun, probably saw this is my interpretation, and I could be wrong. I think they saw a empty gun holster, saw something in his hand, and had assumed he had pulled it out and they, under such high adrenaline at that point, were just reacting to how they were trained.
That's very possible,
And then
especially yeah,
we do see in the video after, once they realized they messed up, that they immediately tried getting medical service.
yeah.
It was just unfortunate. He was shot too many times and lost too much blood, and unfortunately passed away.
I think one of the uh, parts of it that supports this idea that there was a misunderstanding was that at the end, after they shoot him, one of the guys like, "Where's the gun? Where is it?" And then the other guy's like, "I have the gun." He's like, "What?" And so you could make a legitimate case that there was a not clear understanding. I don't think that the statements made by the powers that be helped clear up the situation, because I think it was Christy Nome who said, "Hey, this guy came in with the intent to do malicious harm to ICE." And from what videos we have, it doesn't appear that that was his intent that day. However, we must note that 11 days prior, there was video footage of him, kicking at like a ICE vehicle, being disruptive, intentionally difficult, sort of menacing, not menacing as in scary, but just menacing as in being a menace.
He's essentially trying to get himself involved in something he shouldn't.
Yeah, but I don't think what he was doing was especially violent or
You
trying to cause casualties from that clip, but more info
you
could
have
surface
the
later.
right to protest. You have the right to carry a weapon. You have the right to just about anything in the United States of America. The issue is when you are getting yourself involved with a federal operation in with the intention to get in their way, or you are breaking vehicles is a form of vandalism. That is a felony. Getting yourself involved in federal operations with the intent to get in their way or annoy them is a criminal offense. And him carrying a weapon is not the issue. Could have
Because
been
he did
smarter
have a
not
permit for that,
have
as it
his.
is.
Would have been smarter not to have the weapon on him if he was gonna get involved with ICE. But that's my own opinion.
Yeah, well,
It is very unfortunate. We are not happy about this at all.
no,
This
I
is
mean, I
a
don't think he should
terrible.
have died. I mean, again, it all at best comes down to a misunderstanding. Like, I don't think that they were going to just there was too many things that seemed very reactive instead of like if this was hey courted, hey, let's kill him. It
This
just
was just a high adrenaline rush in
right.
reaction.
That doesn't mean that this won't have consequences for anyone. I
The
mean,
agents involved.
yeah, it probably will to some extent. I don't know how much. I'm sure some people want to charge these guys with like first degree murder and whatnot, and I don't think you can get that with what we have right now. However, I don't think that the powers that be, the Homeland Security, yeah, no, in charge of Homeland Security and whatnot, I don't think that she's actually been the most accurate with her own statements based on what has been seen. And that's probably not helping anything either. That's why I think it's important that we don't jump to any conclusions right now. Because a lot of
There's
people
going to be more evidence
take
coming
to
out
that.
soon,
Right.
I'm sure.
I mean, we don't know the full story on things that have happened years and years. Like, we don't even know what happened with Kennedy. Do we really know what happened with Kennedy? Do we? Do we, us?
No one knows.
Exactly. So I think that it's best to wait to have an official conclusion, but regardless of why it happened, it doesn't change the fact that it shouldn't have happened. I think that's a fair assessment. Now, what I don't understand, we can see that and we can appreciate that. What I have been seeing some of is a lot of this idea of if you support ICE, then I want you to unfollow me or I'm blocking you, soft block or whatever, because like we don't share the same morals, the same values. This isn't a political issue. History's not going to remember you well. And to that I say, well, let's be a little more specific. What is it? I mean, they're probably mad about all of everything ICE related. But if you're asking me, do I support ICE? I mean, the question is, what are we talking about? Like, I don't support these people being dead. I'm not happy they're dead. If
Yeah, of course not.
yeah, so for that, I mean, I wouldn't want an unfollowing. And as for do I support ICE as in their objective, their mission for immigration customs enforcement? I do. I mean, I don't think that should be that controversial. A lot of them say, well, no one's illegal on stolen land. I'm gonna have to argue with that one a
That
little bit.
logic is very flawed.
Because I would argue that pretty much all land is stolen by someone at some point, one
If your
time or
logic
another.
is stolen land is, stuff that was taken in success of a war, then the only land that is not stolen is Israel. Just putting it out
Oh,
there. Controversial, but logically, if we are going to use that logic you are using for this, it's true.
I mean, they could probably make an argument. Palestinians send some, the Canaanites, Ammonites, Hittites, Hivites, Jebusites, all that. I mean, the world, I think Tony Gilroy said, we're all a product of war and other unfavorable evils. And we all sort of stem from that because that's over the course of human history, there's been a lot of war and conquest and things that happen. So that it's hard to say that any land wasn't stolen. And in that case, most, if not all, land is, no one is illegal on. And in that case, just no one should have borders, including America. It just doesn't make sense to me. But I guess back to my main point, which was that I don't think that we should encourage people not to follow each other, or to my bigger point, have any relation or friendship or talk to. It's if we
I've seen a lot of those posts on Instagram and
Yeah,
Facebook
and it's
of
like Charlie
if
Kirk said, without communication, then everything's going to get worse, because if you're not talking, it's easier to dehumanize these other people because you're not actually interacting with them. I don't agree with a lot of the stuff that I see people post. Sometimes I like, oh, or like I even roll my eyes, but like I appreciate getting to see it. And some of the stuff is very insightful, and a lot of them, they're the ones I hear a lot of this stuff from first. You can't say they don't care. You might disagree with how they care, but they are active in what they're doing. And I appreciate getting to see it because it helps me see the world through how they're seeing it. Because I can see one story and they can see a story, and we can describe it as completely different stories. Like that's just how sharply the news can just be divided and how it paints situations and people. So I think when you know regular people and you can see how they feel and how they post and how they speak about these things, that's better. That's better for everyone. Because if you don't get to understand other people, then you're only going to have like a bubble of people who think the exact same as you. And even if they're like, Austin and Daniel, where they're, equally stupid as me, and so we all think stupidly, and so we all have equal amounts of fun, still, it's good to have some intelligence around.
and it's also just I strongly believe it is healthy to hear from both sides. I I surround myself with people who think like I do, who are on the Republican and conservative side. But I also do talk with people who are, on the left, who are on the Democratic side. And I watch news sources that are on that side just so I can get both sides because I know both sides can be biased or partial or, sweep something under the rug.
Right.
So it's healthy for us to talk.
Exactly. It healthy. You don't even have to have a political conversation every time you see them, but just to have that relationship with someone. Like one of my best friends, we disagree politically on just about everything, but
Yeah, I've got a best friend like that too.
exactly. But to have that person in your life who you care about, who you see as an individual more than the politics, that is crucial, I believe, just to helping us say, hey, it's not us and them, it's we. It's not the United States are, it's the United States is. It's this idea of, yes, we are many and there's many different ideas, but the most important, out of many, one. Because the thing that should unite us all is that we are, in fact, all Americans. Whether some of us like it or not is a different question.
Like we are united in this one nation. We are the United States of America, and that's how we should be. We have the freedom of speech. We have the freedom of having our own opinion. Let's talk.
Mm-hmm. It's a beautiful thing, truly. Now, if we were trying to have a Star Wars debate, then things wouldn't be civil. Then there would be tables flipped.
Or F1.
No one's gonna flip a table over F1. Star
I
Wars,
will.
you will. You're special.
I am. Thank you.
All right. Well, I think that that's all that we have for today. Thank you for joining us for an extended episode, essentially, based on how long it's been. I am Dr. Road. And my doctor's note for today is Austin, give the doctor's note.
Everyone, thank you for watching. Please, if you have any comments, do share them in the comment section on YouTube and Spotify. And if you watch us on one platform, go ahead and just follow us on the other. It helps us out and helps us get more outreach. We appreciate you guys and thank you for listening. We will see you next week. Thank you.
Yeah, we'll see you then.